Hello and welcome to the program today. My name is Bamishai Victor and I'm calling. I'm live from Kiev, Ukraine. It's evening here, and I want to believe some of you are in the morning, some others are in the evening, and some of you are at the same time zone, or probably just a little time difference, and that means you are also in the evening. Some already are in midnight. Wherever your time zone is, I'm very glad that you are alive and that you can listen to us today, and that is worth a lot of things. So I want to welcome you to the show, and I want you to go ahead and please share. Go ahead and invite your friends and call all those who you think should be here. Send the link to them. You know how we do it. So I'll go now to Facebook and see those of you who have joined, and Facebook will be good enough to show me, and I would like to welcome you personally to the show. So I can see Mrs. Abiola Olojo, Francesca Mugbo. I can see Awonusi Oluwatoyin, Sasha Shipak, Dr. Lubumiade Jayon, Favor Ojabo, Tracy Movberen. Welcome everyone. Awonusi Oluwatoyin, Pat Obaze, Julie Faith, you're so much welcome. Nosakare Imade, you're welcome. Godi V, Yinka Jishebutu, Mr. Charles Adeniji, you're so much welcome. Francis Mugwao, you're very much welcome. So as you're coming in, please do well to invite your friends, do well to share. And I want to ask you today to be as proactive as possible in especially listening, and also to share your point as much as you can. I can see that Victor Abe has joined. I can see Fumilola Tela Anu Ojo is also watching. Peace Bien Ejeku is also watching. I can see Stanley Fogod, Dotun Aleshin Lawyer. Wow. So, I see a lot of people are coming in, and if I should just keep mentioning the name, we'll probably not start the program. But I want you to rest assured that you are very much welcome. We appreciate your presence, and you join us week in, week out in this discussion. It's been 2 weeks since we've been here. In the last 2 weeks, a lot has happened. HMT has come and gone, and it was a brilliant session. We had HMT on systems, and I have heard a lot of testimonies from some of you. Maybe if there are some who did not have the opportunity to share their thoughts on HMT before, you could do well to call in at the end of the program when we open the line and share your thoughts, both on the topic we'll be handling today, and also we have the chance to allow you share your thoughts on the HMT, which was on system building. All right, so today with me, I have a very interesting person, a very cerebral, highly intellectual. Is the author of so many books, is a nation builder, a systematic planner. It's a person you can describe with so many colorful and beautiful attributes, but I think he simply prefers to be called Dr. Sunday Adelaja, DSA. So join me as I make welcome Dr. Sunday Adelaja. You're very much welcome, sir.
My honor.
Yeah. Wow, how's the week been for you?
And
I'm talking from the last week, the whole HMT, from the anniversary, in fact.
Yeah, it's been busy. All that's 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks of, even up to now, we are still being busy. But thank God, the anniversary ended, and this week is coming to the middle of the week now, and we can come up with a product. Because some people have been on my neck. Why are you not writing the book? Am I ready to become a husband? Why is it that you wrote a book, Am I Ready to Become a Wife, and you have not written for men? It's not fair. You have to write for men. Why is it that you are not writing, Am I Ready to Become a Husband? So I want to start by pulling your own leg, because we have to ask you that question.
Let me adjust my cap and be ready.
We have to ask you that question, because that book is for you.
I look forward to reading it.
So you escape by saying you have not read it.
Yeah, I look forward to reading it. But I think I may be able to relate with many of the things that may be in it. I've not seen it fully.
That book. It's a book.
But I know
Even women should read
you'll
it.
talk about, I know for sure you are going to talk about finances.
Yes.
I know for sure you are going to talk about intellectual readiness.
Development, yes.
I know for sure you talk about sacrificing being single.
Yes.
And yeah, so
You got some points right, eh?
yeah. So, but I look forward to reading it in full. I've read how to find the, although that's not out yet.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's for women. That's
Yeah.
for women.
But in the woman one, you gave a lot of expo.
Yeah, because I was telling the women all the things they have to look for in a man.
So if a man,
that they will not miss it.
If a man reads it, he already knows what to
Okay. What is expected of
be.
him?
Yeah, what to be for the woman. So that's why I'm thinking that I would have at least some idea. But of course, this will be coming from a more masculine perspective.
But is it, no, I want to just ask you, is it even the idea, because I've never seen a book like that am I ready to become a husband? Am I ready to become a wife? Am I ready? There are a lot of series like this that we've done. So how to get the best husband, all those things. So it's a series that we have.
Yeah.
So this one, so is it a good thing for you as a young man who is not married yet? Because before I became a husband, I didn't have a book like this. I have a book for husband and wives. Mainly that is what they are selling. You know, family, husband and wife, family. Or maybe even for men, I didn't see too many books. But this one is not just for men. It's for a man that is single, that is a bachelor. So have you seen a book written just for the bachelor? And not just for all of them or singles. But this one is for the man. So is it a good idea? Will you appreciate something like that if somebody gives you a book like this, or that even there is an opportunity to even come across a book like this before you go? Because most people who are married, if you ask them, they didn't get an opportunity to read a book like this before they married. So as a young man per se, like yourself, who has not even married yet, do you think it's even a good concept to start with?
I tell our listeners what? I've seen books that have been written about marriage.
Yes.
But most of it, number one, is how to conflict resolution in marriage and how to maintain peace in marriage. Good. But even before I started, I got exposed to the Western world. In Nigeria, if you want to marry, they will give you some books.
Okay.
But all of those books come within the confines of the sectarian religiosity. It usually has no reality. It does not go in tandem with reality. It just brings on you some unnecessary religious stuff, you know, pray, family that pray together, stay together, all of those.
Wives obey.
Wives obey your husband, you know, all of those stuff. Not that they are not truth, but in the general concept, they become non-truths.
And
because
then
they
Proverbs 31.
Yeah, Proverbs 31 woman. So I've seen all of those. But for this book, for Am I Ready to Be a Husband, I've not seen one. I have not seen. Maybe there are.
I've traveled.
But I have not seen.
I've traveled widely. I've not seen myself.
Yeah, I have not seen one that has been directly addressed to a single man. And why is this important? You know, one of the questions I myself have had to ask in times past is, number one, is there a need for marriage? Probably I would understand that when I read this. Okay, how do I know it's time to be married? Because I think, and I've seen that especially in my circles. I mean, I spent 6 years in the university for my undergraduate, and in that 6 years, I believe I've seen quite a lot of people. And so and I think that a lot of people get married for two reasons.
A lot of your mates.
Yeah. You get married for two reasons. Number one, it's no longer would you marry me. Most cases now is I am pregnant. And so from I am pregnant, it becomes a necessity. And then many people marry because they fall in love. And from you, I have learned only fools fall in love. The first time I read it, it was antithetical. But looking at what you said and the reasons you gave, and looking really at the surroundings and
I'm going to write the whole book on that one too.
I've seen that really only fools fall in love. And when I was working on one of your books, I saw a woman who was divorced for 4 times or so. She was saying that it is foolish to go out of marriage the same way it's foolish that you fell in love in the first place. So, like equating falling in love with divorce.
Yes.
So it means there's so much more. So, okay, does this mean that maybe I can't date someone? No, that's not necessarily what it means. It means, are you ready to spend your time with this one person? Do you understand what it takes? The whole concept, the whole the meaning of marriage itself. Do I understand the role of a husband? Do I understand the role of a father? You know, so those are the questions I believe.
Am I even a father yet? Do I even know that I have to be a father before I even think of marriage?
Now that one I got it from another of your book, where you were talking about a man should be a father, not when the child appears, but even before the marriage takes place. So probably that's why I would have some clues. But of course, like I was saying, to be able to read this from the perspective of a man addressed to men, I think it would be a really interesting read. And I think I consider myself blessed that I can have this kind of material before I
step out.
Yeah, I step out of that of this comfort zone of being a bachelor.
Now, if you look at the picture very well, you will see something on the back of the man.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you see it.
Yeah, the man and his wife. A man and a wife and a woman.
And it's not just wife and a woman.
Wedding?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a wedding scenario at the back. But the thing is not the forefront. It's like uncovered in a veil. Because that's what he's thinking about.
It's at the back of his mind.
Yes, at the back of his mind. So, but the question we are now asking him is, and which he's asking himself, he's full of confusion. Am I ready for marriage? Is it time? I like it. I'm dreaming of it. What are the steps? What are the clarity? What helps me to know?
Yeah. You know, one of the principles I learned earlier, and which I think is a big propellant to also getting the point in this book, is that I realized that anything, no matter how valuable it is, that is gotten when it is not understood or when it is not yet time, becomes a liability, no matter how valuable it used to be. And I realized that the fact that I like something does not mean I am ready actually to have it. You know, for instance, I love dogs, and I used to have a dog 5 years ago. But right now, even though I love dogs, I can't have a dog because the environment to have such is not permitted. So, like you're saying, yes, maybe like they will say in Nigeria, you've come of age. Maybe I've come of age, but have I created the environment to be able to sustain a marriage? And not just a marriage, but when we're talking in terms of marriage and everything, we're talking about having it at the best level, at the optimum, not
barely surviving.
Yeah, not surviving, not managing it.
Not struggling.
Yeah. So I don't want to be a manager. I want to be a director. So those are the questions I think, of course, when one really gets to ask himself, it shows how much value this book will be in answering many of the questions.
I think we should find the one for the woman too. Am I ready to be a wife? Because some people might have forgotten and say, why is he talking just about husband? So that they remember that, no, this is a follow-up to the one we had released before. Am I ready to be a wife? So this is the second one. This is not the first one. We had written about the woman. Am I ready to be a wife, to become a wife? Then this one now, am I ready to become a husband?
In fact, I think you have about nothing less than 10, 15 books on this family series.
Yes.
How to be a good in-law, how to different books. So it will really be interesting to read for me, for sure. I know, for instance, and those were one of the things we start. Okay, how do I say this? And I say that at the risk of being very modest, and I don't mind. But for me as a person, I lost my dad. That would be going to 12 years now.
16?
15. I was 15. So I've been my own father model. So it's not like there's been one man like that I've been able to look up to say, okay, let me learn values. And by the time I met you, there were certain and I think I was a very good guy. I thought I knew some things, but some of those those trifles that you were pointing out, and they were core. For instance, chivalry, how to treat a woman. In this place now, I learned, for instance, never to let a woman do what
some things what a man
can do, and I am there. So many times now, when I see a lady trying to do something, can I help you? Do you need any help? I try to ask all of those, but naturally, it was not my business. It was not my business.
Especially from
it's not my job.
The environment you are coming from now.
Yeah. So see, as long as it's not my job description.
No moral responsibility.
It's not my responsibility.
No moral responsibility.
No. If it was my job, if
no, but job is not moral. Is not job now.
But that was.
What about social responsibility?
You know, okay. Let me tell you another thing that I was even really struggling with. It was I grew up in an age where people were now calling for what they call social gender equality. So for me, I was also trying all this feminist agenda. Of course, now I understand better what feminism in itself means, what it means. But as of then, it was more of the toxic type that was all over the place. So I'm like, you cannot, for instance, be claiming equality. Of course, now I understand the difference between equity and equality. But you cannot be claiming equality and then still want to eat your cake and have it in the place of having special treatment. So if you want equality, okay, we'll give you equality.
But you know, the lady you see around you, you will not know that if she's claiming equality or not. She's just a woman now.
That was a blanket thing. So for me, although I got that earlier, but the whole mindset was within an environment, whatever is my duty, this is my spelled out duty, I will do. But if this is our own job, then let her do. So, but of course, one cannot do that around you. And it's not for eye service.
Around JFK too.
JFK, right? John F. Kennedy.
Yes, because he said, don't ask what your country
but that's country
will do for you. Only country.
Yes, because that is why a lot of people too can be socially responsible, but yet still not know how to treat women. You know, one of the lessons
responsibility is different.
Yeah, it's very different. One of the lessons I've learned from you is, especially when it pertains to women, is it's not because this particular woman is an object of your interest in any field. Maybe your mom or your sister or your aunt or something. But you should be able to treat all women alike in that sense.
With honor and dignity.
Although I still have a problem with something. And probably...
Because they will be thinking you want to marry them or something.
Yeah. I've been in trouble for that too.
So you are a young man with big old man's experience.
I've been in trouble for that too.
That's all. It comes with the environment.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't make you to stop being human.
Yeah.
The highest of man.
You know. So now I learn, really, not just learn, because there are some things we also know. Like, you know, it is just head knowledge, but no practicality. But being around you, and it's not for eye service, but the fact that it's your value system, it has become probably the value system of the whole environment. So you just have to conform.
Even in the church, if you go to the church today.
So now, when I'm opening the door, I see a woman, you just wait, you let her pass. Yes. And that's not even only here. I do that everywhere.
And they'll be looking at you too now and say, this guy is different though.
Some people say thank you. Some others will say thank you, but I've done my own part.
I've done my own part.
And we move. But of course, that's just how to deal with the feminine gender. But it will go deeper in how to deal with, for instance, your fiancé. It will go deeper, for instance, with how to now deal with your wife. Because, you know, for instance, I've seen people, and we've seen situations where they were very good as boyfriends or girlfriends. They were very good as fiancé.
Yes.
But the moment they got married,
It's on the opposite. Because it was not their value system.
Yeah.
It was just they were good and fiancé because that was chemistry.
Yeah.
It was chemistry working. And they were being moved and they were driven. But they didn't develop values there before then. No. It was just a drive. So once the drive goes, everything comes back to the real person you used to be.
So that's why love is not enough.
Yeah, love is, that's why it's foolishness. Because if you see that kind of drive of chemistry and fall in love, that is not the person you are seeing. He's just been driven by the stimuli of seeing a beautiful person or something. It's just the chemistry that is driving him. It's not him. So if you fall in love with that, you'll be deceived because by the time the thing goes down, wanes down, then you would meet the real person, the real person he was before.
For instance, there's nothing to be haunted again, for instance.
Nothing to be haunted again, and it's just bad news. That's why, lost, that is the lost part of it. That is the passion. So it's not bad. It's legitimate. That God created it. But it will only last for between 6 months for different people, different results. But between 6 months to 3 years, maximum 3 years, that lost part of it, that drives you, the chemistry, that only lasts for between 6 to 3 months. It would then, the thing that will remain after that are the values that you have developed.
No. Now that you're saying it, long ago I developed the principle and it worked for me. I mean, that was since probably 17. I noticed it's very easy to like any lady, right?
Yes.
So I said to myself, any lady I like, I must give it 6 months.
Okay.
And it really worked for me. It really worked for me. It worked wonders.
Yeah, by the third,
third month, second month,
reality sets in.
Reality sets in. Maybe maybe it's not even on your part, but you begin to see behaviors even you cannot cope with.
Yeah.
You begin to see things that you yourself, okay, she's not bad, but my kind of behavior is not fair on her. And because I cannot change me, maybe it's not because I'm bad. It's not necessarily because I'm bad, but let's say, for instance, I like to wake up by 6 and have my silent time, and the other person likes to just be on to talk as of that time. I know for my personal development, I cannot compromise. No matter what, I can't compromise. So, and it becomes a problem. So now I already know, for instance, that this compromise cannot work and stay there. Other times it's just pure character flaw and on either side. Other times you just see that, okay, all I like in this person is the physicality, the pulchritude. So, but that 3 to 6 months, it really works.
Yeah, it's a very, very good, very good
safety system.
Yes, very, very good criteria. It will really help you to come to sanity. Otherwise, that's why people, fall into relationships and come out and then fall into another one. They keep on breaking their own heart and breaking other person's heart. And
I also discovered then too, sir, that although I think that was from reading, but it was good to have discovered it early. I noticed, and I'm not sure, I don't know, I've not read, but maybe it would be emphasized deeper in the book, that people come to meet you with the fullness of the experience they've had in their previous relationship.
Sad.
So now they are not dealing with you, they are seeing you through the lenses
prism,
of the pain, the hurt, the experience they've had with the former guy. So now you have the one suffering. So what do I mean? People get into relationships without being healed.
Yeah, and that's why, that's why your 6 month thing is a good thing. You don't need to go into a relationship like that, because once you begin to experiment like that, you will all carry the baggage. You carry the baggage with you.
But I have seen also, and I don't know how that works, I've seen people who cannot be single in their life.
Yeah, because they have been brainwashed by the environment. And the environment says you must have a boyfriend, you must have a girlfriend. So they buy into that lie and they are driven by it. They are not living, they are not conscious. They are not in the here and now. They don't live a conscious life. They are living by the tenets of the society, by the demands of the society.
So what role do you think parenting plays in all of this?
Parenting?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, in the mindset of
informing.
Yeah, informing that,
You
that
know,
mindset.
the purpose of parenting is to be able to raise up children in an environment where they will see the right value systems being demonstrated in practical everyday life. But the purpose of parenting for the children, for the parents, is to inculcate and train the children in the best values possible for them to be able to navigate their ways in life later on. And of course, to also help them, give them direction so that they will be able to find themselves in life and they will be able to live out those values that they are seeing in the environment. And few parents will ever tell you this. What most parents will tell you is that their responsibility is to feed you, to make sure that you have what to eat, what to wear, and that they send you to school. That is what they think. But they are not thinking in terms of what real parenting is really for. And that's why I normally say that 50% of the people you see who marry, they are not supposed to marry. 50% of all humanity are not supposed to marry at all. They are just supposed to face their business and, discover themselves and live for something. But to marry and then having children without knowing the purpose of parenting, you are doing injustice not just to yourself but to those children as well, because they will be wondering, why did you even bring me here? Because the parents themselves don't know why they brought him there, why they bring them there. Can you imagine? Parents don't know why they had children. For them, it's just the same thing as pigs having children, or cats or dogs. It's just a biological thing. It's just a byproduct of biological mating. So they just they are mating or mated because of the drive of chemistry and instincts, reproductive instincts, and children came out of as a result. They don't think, they are not Homo sapiens. And because they don't think, they couldn't provide solution before even those children came out. That's why in our church here, I train people never to marry, never to have children in the first 3 years of marriage. So in Embassy of God, people don't have children in the first 3 years. Because the first 3 years, so that they don't just submit to the demands of instincts. So they are not driven by instincts, but so that they will put instinct aside, wake up, get healed from chemistry, from lust, and that is driving them, and get to think, and then make a plan, and propose and project, and then expectedly a plan for children that they had planned for, they had planned for the next 18 to 25 years before having children.
No, what you said actually makes a lot of sense, because I begin to see now that a lot of married people, they do not even get to enjoy themselves, to know themselves before children comes in. So when the dynamics of children comes in, they don't even have a working.
They don't even know one another.
Yeah. So now all the focus is on the child,
They are
so
distracted.
any small misunderstanding which they could have used prior understanding of each other to solve, just
spill out in the front of the child.
Yeah.
And the child grows up in an unhealthy environment where there are arguments and there are fights, and that child is traumatized for the rest of his life like that.
My professor said something, I think that was last year during one of our lectures. She said, everyone on earth is a product of their childhood trauma.
To a large extent, there is a big truth in that. It's not the professor who said that, it is actually
Sigmund Freud?
Sigmund Freud who said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering,
that is his own theory.
With children and people who grow up to become wives and husbands, could it be that because we do not have healthy models of husband and wives in our parents and
families,
and in our environment, could that be the reason why we also are not becoming one, and then we cannot also pass that down to our children?
No, there is no way you will not pass. All of us are broken one way or the other. Every human being has a brokenness somewhere in his life. He might acknowledge it, he might not acknowledge it, but everybody has an issue. So there are different ones. But never think that you don't have issues. Even when you have parents, husband and wife, who are good, you still have some issues because they are not perfect. Because you're growing up in an imperfect environment, you carry the issues with you. For example, especially if you are black, you've grown up in Africa, especially in Nigeria, you have a lot of issues. For example, the statement you just made that everybody is a product of their childhood traumas. Yeah. So that statement alone, if you to go by it, but that is not the only thing. That you are not just a product of your traumas. There are a lot of other things that influence your childhood, but at least trauma is one of them. So let's think about children being beaten in Nigerian schools or at home, but especially in schools with cane. And some of them are being beaten by, stripping them naked first, or their backside, and then beating them. By stripping anybody naked, removing their pants or their trouser in public before other students, and then that one is already trauma. You have already traumatized that child. Then by going further to even be beating him, you are inflicting pain. You are damaging him on a level that is beyond him. You are damaging that child, even without removing the pants. Even just beating a child with a cane. The way especially they do it in schools in Nigeria, especially making you to lie down in public, even with your clothes on, but lie down, especially for women, for girls. It shouldn't be done. That is why when the investigations and research that are done in Africa shows that the hardest women in the world, the worst women, the hardest ones, the strictest women in the world are in Nigeria. Worse than Afghanistan, worse than Iraq, where there are war. It's like even parents, children, 2,000 children all over the country, in every country, all over something who are interviewed. Everybody said they fear their mothers more than their father in Nigeria. Because it's not this, when you are beating a child like that, especially women, even boys, you damage them beyond imagination. You break something in them. You harm them. You bring trauma to their inner being. You destroy their psyche somewhere. Something is destroyed in a child like that. So timidity comes out of that. Fear comes out of that. Lack of confidence comes out of that. Lack of self-assurance. That's why you rather go to God. It's easier for our people to say, yeah, I believe in God, than to say I believe in myself. So a lot of things, and then lack of gentleness comes out of that. Then the fact that they say Nigerians are rude, it comes out of that. The fact that, lack of, courtesy comes out of that. Because they have roughened your life from the beginning. So if you now say 90% or over 90% of Nigerians' children have been raised up this way, what does that tell us? We are all damaged. We are a damaged people. I was looking at the president, Buhari, yesterday. There was a picture that was released of him. He was there. I think his aunt or his mother, I think his sister. His sister was there, then his wife, and then his grandchildren. So Buhari was sitting like this. His two grandchildren were sitting like that. Or maybe they were even closer to him. Then the aunt was sitting there, and then the wife was sitting somewhere there at the end. And they were laughing. That one, for me, as a psychologist, is telling me a picture of a broken and a traumatized family. But not just that family, but it's the president. It's telling me of a traumatized and broken culture and nation. Not nation in the sense of geography. That is the way the whole country is. Nobody notices it in Nigeria. Then you will see Nigeria. I saw after Buhari won the election, they welcomed them to a party where, they were having dinner. And he was coming in front, the wife is at the back, which is not bad, but at the end, the wife is just totally neglected. He's not even giving a hand to the wife, or I mean, nobody gives a hand to the wife. I mean, the wife is just as if she's lost.
Yeah.
All the attention on him. He's not even saying, bring it. I mean, no, I mean, as if he's not even aware that she's there.
No iota of
No
romantic,
acknowledgement, as if she's just lost, and she's trying to run to catch up with him, to be there somewhere. You know, that is talking to you about a whole culture that, and is accepted, is considered perfect, good family, accepted, first family, first lady, but it's talking about a whole society where values and value system are not placed in order. Things are not set in order. No order in the family, no order in the family relationship, no order between husband and wife, no order, no societal order, family-wise. People are not aware of it. So as long as they are concerned, family is just a place where the two husband and wife meet or are made to produce children, and then they say we have our children, so we're a family. But no cordial relationship, warmth of romance, love, warmth, passion, no passion. And this is not him alone. Since we have been growing up in Nigeria, if you see a husband hold a door, everybody will be shouting. You shouldn't hold your husband or your wife. It's a culture that romance is supposed to be strange and foreign from you. So without romance, how do you even sleep with your wife? What do you do in the bedroom? Huh?
That's done in secrecy.
Yeah, but what do you do? But without public romance, if you know the nature of women, a woman, there is no secrecy, nothing, sex is not possible for a woman if during the day you had not paid her a lot of attention, if you have not shown romance to her during the day. Yeah. If you just now come in the evening and you want to sleep with her, it's like a rape to her. That woman is not happy. Yeah. So that shows me that these old families, even though they are dressing, they are wearing the same gown or the same costume, but they are not happy. It's a broken society. A lot of things need to be taught in that society. So that's why this kind of books, am I ready to be a husband? These are things that must be taught to the new generation. And this type of books, am I ready to be a wife? These things must be taught to the new generation.
Yes.
Look, it's like our time is going. This is the only thing we have been talking about.
Well, I think I still need a question about this book.
Okay.
At what age?
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to change the title of the program. I'm going to change the title of the program to, am I ready to be a wife? Am I ready to be a husband? Sorry.
Okay. So, that means we could just expand time talking about
because people will be calling in soon now.
Okay. So, at what age do you think, for instance, a boy should start being groomed or grooming himself, preparing himself for the position of being a husband?
Maybe from the age of 5.
5
or 7. That's the way. This is what we did for our son. So from the age of 7, for example, parents in the house had 2 sisters. So we told him that you are daddy is the head of the family, but for the children, mommy is the head of them. So daddy is the head of the family for mom, and for the whole family. But for the children, it is mommy that is the head, the authority. But for the children, it is parents. For the other children, it is parents that is the head of the children, like the pastor, like the leader. So, for example, it is parents that takes responsibility for all what the children need to be done.
Is that because it's firstborn or because it's his son?
In his own case, it's because it's firstborn, and also because it's a son. So, from that age, we started to teach him about how to relate, not just as a leader, how to become a leader in the family, but also we are also teaching him how to relate to girls, because the sisters are girls. So even though at that age he wants to fight with them, not just joking, play with them, but through fighting. I said, no, these are ladies, these are girls. So it's this different kind of play we'll do with them. Then also, you know, sometimes he's angry at them because they are not following. He said, no, you don't relate to a girl like that. You better go and do it for her than to shout at her. Or do something for her, give her a hand, give her a support. So from the age of 7, Perez is being taught to how to relate to girls. So when he was at the age of 16 or 17, he ran into a big trouble in his school because some white girls, American girls, started falling in love with him because they couldn't believe it that he would be so cautious and he was so groomed and so well behaved towards girls. So, so we had to deal with that one too.
But it's quite the opposite in our culture, because what we do is we train the ladies and we give the guys a free pass.
Wow, oh my God!
That's what happens.
That is now the reason for all the brokenness that we have in families today. Because right now, what I hear in Nigerian homes is that the men don't want to do anything.
No.
And that the women are the ones taking most of the chunk of the responsibility. Yeah. That is so shocking to me, because that is the opposite of what we are doing. For example, Perez now is 21, and somebody was asking him, what about girlfriend? And he just told them, no chance right now. First of all, I've not even finished my education. Secondly, even if I finish my education, I need to have a job. Thirdly, I need to build a house or get a house or an apartment. So fourthly, I need to get a car. Fifthly, I need to be able to have enough so that she would not have to work. To be able to provide for her. Perez knows that. And he knew that from the age of 14.
But in Nigeria, too, it's more like we will struggle together. We build, we build together.
50-50.
Yeah, we'll struggle together from the beginning.
Yeah,
and that's
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
But then, so what is the difference? Who is the head? And who is the man? And so what is the good in you being a man? And what is the essence of you making her to become your wife? And so what is the essence of her changing her name and leaving her father's house? So what is all that about? Well, so why, if I'm going to struggle together with you and then we are going to share 50-50, why should I leave my father's house? Why should I leave my name? Why should I leave my, why? Because a man is supposed to give a woman identity. That is why she changes her name. I give you identity. So if I'm not grown up enough to give, if I'm not grown up enough to be a husband, and one of the qualities of being grown up to be a husband is that am I ready to give a woman an identity? If I'm not ready to give you an identity, to make sure to give you an identity that you never had, better than you ever had, then I'm not a husband. So you taking up my name, that is a farce, it's a deception, because the identity must come before you take up my name. You must be sure that I giving you that new identity. That is why you, with all joy, relinquish your own family name. That is number one. Number two, the lady must be given protection. So she must know that she is saved, spiritually, materially, and psychologically. She's protected. She's covered. That is covering. You don't need to worry about anything. I'm here. She's secured. She's affirmed. And a lady must be given stability. So if a man cannot provide those three things, there is no marriage. So when the whole idea that we will struggle together. So who are you then? Who are you there as a man? Who are you? Are you a man? Or you are just an accidental road companion? If you are a man, that you are the one who is going to tell her, please become my wife. I love you and I want you to become my wife. I'm giving you an invitation to me. So it's just like saying, I'm saying, follow me. And I don't have a place where I'm going to. First of all, I'm deceiving you. Thirdly, I am being irresponsible. So for me to say, follow me and become my wife, that means that I have something prepared for you. At least I have a home where to bring you to. And it means that I have the ability to be able to provide for you so that you don't regret. It means that I'm offering you something that is comparable or even much better than what you already have right now. It means that I'm ready to give you that protection. I'm ready to secure you. I want to make you happy. I'm not saying come and let's all go together. Who will marry someone like that? When you go and and approach a woman, do you go and tell her, okay, come, we'll go and struggle together?
We don't do that. It's like Nigerian Christianity. When you are inviting people in, you paint a good picture.
But is that not deception?
But you know what Nigerian Christianity says, especially
so I will not be able to look her in the eye after 2 years because I deceived her.
But Nigerian pastors preach this, and they say, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. And their interpretation is that even if you are broke now, by the time you get married, favors and blessings will come with the wife.
Wow. They need the Proverb 31st kind of woman, that sense. I mean, that is irresponsible. The same pastors will tell you a woman builds his own, or what's it?
Own house.
Builds her own house. So a good woman or whatever, a wise woman or a good woman builds her own house. So that means that the man is free from the responsibility. I mean, see the interpretation that people are having. No, that is killing the scriptures. That is killing the spirit of the scripture. That is killing the Bible right there. It's not in line.
So the whole idea becomes that from age 5, the idea of raising, and I think if we raise our boys to be men, it will be very easy for them to transition into being husbands. I think, of course, you have a book that's not yet out, but how not to raise a spoilt brat. And when I read that book, I saw
did you work on
yeah,
it?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So I saw the deficiencies in the upbringing in many African families. Of course,
especially with the men.
Especially with the men. Yeah, especially with the men, giving free pass. The ladies do everything.
But I never had that, because when I was growing up, I was the only one with my grandmother. So no pass to anybody. I was the only one. I had to cook with her. I have to do all the things. I have to go to the farm.
Yeah, but I don't know how many parents are doing that. Because for me, to be sincere, and I don't have any reason to pontificate them, but there are many things I saw in the book of good qualities which my parents were doing. And I was like, okay, probably that's why, even though I was not totally, I'm not perfect, I'm not even near that ideal level, guy, but to a large extent, I'm in that path. For instance, that independence, that face the world. I was 7 when I started doing some certain things that even
business,
10, 14-year-old people would not do. But many parents in Nigeria would not do that. And one of the arguments they argue is that we suffered so that our children will not suffer the kind of suffering that we had. And so they excuse them from and protect them. They give them this covering from the vicissitude of life.
Well, the most important thing a parent, one of the values, I told you that the purpose of parenting is for parents to be able to instill the right values for life.
Yes, sir.
And prepare the children for life by instilling the right values. So one of the most important values that must be instilled in children, both girls and boys, is the value of responsibility. So even if they will not suffer like I suffered, but responsibility cannot escape them.
Yeah. But the few people, and we say this for guys, especially like we are saying, the purpose of this whole thing is, am I ready to become a husband? If I was never taught responsibility and I got everything free of charge, just free, and my tuition was paid, I'm giving pocket money, and now I'm 27 or 25 or 26 or 31, but everything has always been given to me. Do you foresee a possibility that all of a sudden I could just be ready for that?
For what?
For marriage, to be a husband?
No. You could be married. You will not be ready.
Now,
But
I
you
could be
still,
married,
yes.
but not necessarily ready for it.
Yeah, because if you are being given everything, then there must be a different way of teaching you, coaching you to teach you life and responsibility. But if they didn't teach you, then life will teach you in a very bad way. And life will teach you not in a pretty way, because life will teach you in relationship with that woman. You marry, but once you marry that woman, you know, you begin to discover that she's demanding something from you that you don't understand and that you cannot give to her. Then you begin to have conflicts. As a result of the conflicts and quarrel that you are having, your life will break into pieces. Maybe you begin to drink. Maybe you divorce. You marry the second wife. Or your children become fatherless, or, you know, without the parents, or they divide them. One follows the woman, one follows the man. You know, that is how life teaches those kind of people. So the deficiency of what the parents never gave the man will come out to beat him through life. And throughout life, they could chase him out of the wife, will chase him out of the house. Then they will be, you know, he will go and work, or he's homeless, or he's put in prison, or he's divorced, he's going to his father's house again, you know, a whole lot of mess. That's what happens to those kind of men.
So that would mean that it is always better to fix the man than to fix the husband.
It's too late to fix the husband.
But that's what a lot of marriages attempt to do when they start going for counseling sessions and all of those.
No, but the saddest thing in that is not even about the husband that needs to be fixed. For me, the saddest thing about that is the fact that that unfixed boy, that unfixed man, when he was a child, is now damaging another life. Anybody you marry to, anybody who marries a man that is not fully matured is going to suffer the consequences of that immaturity with him, or even suffer worse than him. So whatsoever the parents never gave to the man is going to come back to flog not just the parents, not the father's name and reputation, but it's going to destroy not just the man himself, but the man will become a weapon of mass destruction in the life of all women that he will ever have any relationship with. So it's going to become an instrument of destruction to the girlfriends that he will have, to the wives that he will have. It's just going to be living ruins on his path wherever he goes.
That's interesting. Am I ready to become a husband? And that's the latest book that Dr. Sunday Adelaja has released. For those of you who may be following the way he releases books, I don't know how you get to finish the finish the copies before he release another. And you know, the interesting thing is, for every one book that is released, there is at least 20 more waiting per time. Per time. So at least for sure, I know that for this one book that was released yesterday, 3 new ones were ready as of yesterday, and that's what I know. Not to talk of the ones I am not aware of. So, but the whole idea is, DSA himself has said that I'm trying to live after my death, to live nothing less than 300 years after my death, and that's why he's doing his best to pour himself out. And I've read a lot of people who try to throw shades. And I want to say this now, DSA, you did not ask me to, but I must say this now for the record. They say he's always advertising books. He always wants to sell books. I'll tell you one thing. Those who say that, and I just have to put out this disclaimer, most of them, check them out. They've never written a book. They do not know what it means to put words together and form a book. Because if they did, then they would understand and appreciate the intellectual capacity that goes into thinking. Not just thinking, but research. Not just the research, but to accumulate everything together and make sense of it. Because at the end of the day, every book is not just your own idea. It's an idea of, it's an accumulation of the different ideas you've studied and you've brought into one and condensed into a material through your intellectual work. Those who have written books would appreciate what it takes into marketing such books. They would appreciate what it takes into printing. They would appreciate what it takes into making the book known. And having worked within the system, for instance, of DSA now as a person, and worked within the system of Facebook, I can tell you for sure that even when I as a person, because I get to translate some of the books from Russian, I can tell you for sure that the amount it pays me just for translating, and I'm saying it just to translate a book, I am sure that it doesn't make that amount on one book if it sells them, for instance, on Amazon. Not to now talk of the fact that he goes ahead to give out this book and put it out on Unlimited. Even I have just 2 books. I have not written much. I have 2 released books. I did not put them on Unlimited. But this man keeps releasing books every week, and he allows Unlimited. And what does Unlimited mean? It means you can read them for free as long as you have subscribed with Amazon for Kindle Unlimited.
We have
it means
20,000.
you can read his books.
We have 20,000 pages read for free every month. So every day, minimum, we have 1,000 people
Reading.
Yeah, 1,000 pages read from for free on Kindle Unlimited. If you want, I will show you the.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I will show you the chart. So people who are reading for free is, and we sell. Okay, let's say we have 20,000 who read the books for free, and people who buy it will be 70, 50.
And there's no way with the amount you are even selling the book on Amazon. I'm saying it does not cover for my own work. Because even after me, I know you still have editors who still try to go through it again. I know after the editors, you still have to
Proofreaders.
pay proofreaders. You still have to pay designers.
Yeah, and the publishers.
And once you even have to still print, you still pay for printing. Now, it takes someone of low and shallow mindedness to say, for instance, that DSA is selling his books. Okay, even if he sells it, how is it your headache? Number one, go write yours and give it out for free. And some of them, and I'm saying this because it's on my mind. I've seen a lot of those on Facebook. They will say, Bible is for free. But I am telling you that why Bible is for free is that somebody who has brain bought the Bible at the cost or produced it with his own money and is sharing it for free. If you so much desire that DSA's books should be for free, or Bamishai Victor's book should be for free, or Clemsy Clement's book should be for free, or Anojo's book should be for free, buy it at bulk and then distribute it for free. Nobody will question you. Because when you are distributing it, then it will be for free. So, what am I saying?
Well, Bible for free? I'm not aware of that.
No.
I bought my own Bible.
Oh, of course. I bought my own Bible too. But there are these New Testament Bibles they give for free.
Okay.
Those small ones. But in any case, it's people who are paying for that. The resources to print and the logistics don't come from heaven. People pay for it. So, and these books that are here, it is not for, and I say this at the risk of sounding immodest, but I'm saying it, that the wisdom and the nuggets that are condensed in this book, you would need at least 3 books from 3 different authors who are highly cerebral to get it. And I'm saying that because when I read 4 of DSA's books, and this is me telling you this, when I read 4 of your book every month, I read 4 of other different authors. And I'm telling you the truth. And sometimes I would have to come back to your book while I'm reading those ones. I feel they are shallow. And these are very celebrated authors. These are best-selling authors who are selling millions of copies, and I'm reading their book and I feel it's shallow. Not for every one of them, of course, but I'm saying that I have seen that empirically. So, and for a man to give such book on a platform such as Kindle Unlimited and you can read it for free, I think a little appreciation would do. A little appreciation would do. And he has never forced you to read his books. He only presents them to you. And it's always your choice to read or not. But I know for sure that people of sound mind and who are intelligent, they appreciate bibliography. They appreciate books. They appreciate effort. And that's what it is. And That's what I have to say about that.
But talking about my books, you have not even said the most important thing. The most important thing is not that I'm writing these books or selling them. There was a time I didn't even bother myself to write books in Russian.
In English language. Yeah.
People were coming from left, right, and center, but they were giving me money and say, please, just translate them to English. We need your books in English. I said, please, if I begin, you don't know me, because in Russian language there are 300.
Yeah.
And if I begin to write in English, I will have so many, you will have another problem. You will not even be able to read them. They said, no, we need these things. Because the reason why I didn't bother to write books in English is because I used to think that, they have so many Americans, they have so many Africans, they have so many preachers, all these people who speak English, who are writing books every day. Why do I need to write in English? I'm writing for the Russian-speaking people because, that's where I am. This is where my own calling. I didn't know that most of them don't even know what they don't even have what I've written, and that's why these people are demanding for it. But that is just on one hand. That's not the most important thing I wanted to say. The most important thing I'm doing with my books is that for me, writing books is not an attempt to claim anything or to, it's not an attempt to establish anything other than, for me, books are tools. Tools of change. And tools of transformation. So books, for as far as I'm concerned, are just my own way of conveying the value systems that are needed in all facets of life that represent God's values, kingdom values, that represent the counteraction or counteraction of the opposition of what is obtainable today. I'm bringing God's viewpoint, God's paradigm to change and counteract the realities of the falling values that we see all around us. So every book, anybody who has read my book will notice, every book is written with the intention of bringing some value systems that are against or in contradiction to the values of this world, and that are bringing God's perspective to that sphere of life. So that, because I have them, I'm releasing them. That's why even though the books are not covering their expenses, and I'm paying and I'm not getting the sales back, but it's not for the sales. It's a blessing. It's a way of releasing to enlighten my world. And also, for the people who are reading it, it's an opportunity for them to be able to know that at least that thing is. So when I advertise a book, when I put up a book there, I'm just letting them know this one is there. This, just know that if you are looking for answers in this angle, look at it. You can get it in this one. I've provided answer here. And people are also writing me sometimes to say, please help us provide answer in this area, or write a book on this, write a book on this. So what I'm doing is, books are tools. Books are not my main occupation. They are just the tools. I have it. I'm gifted in it. I'm trained as a journalist. I am, proficient in what I do. I have answers. I've spent 20 years in solitude with God. So I have the answers, God's solutions. And I'm just releasing them for the world to know that there are answers out there.
And I have this to add. If you don't want to buy books, he has thousands of videos on YouTube. And
they are for free.
A book is probably the condensed version of a whole video series. So if you don't want to buy a book, at least video is there now.
And it's for free now.
It's for free. It's not charging you. So what am I saying? Of course, many would say the people who are saying this are not worth replying. But of course, sometimes we just have to do this because we don't know where it gets to. Let this disclaimer be there.
But
thank you for the
time
gift.
is going.
It's
though.
okay. It's okay. Thank you for the
Because
gift
some
of
people
writing.
still like to call in.
Yeah, they will call in, but I want to personally thank you for the gift of writing. I have access to many of your unreleased materials, and I know the richness and how it has catapulted me. And so by the time sometimes I speak here, and I've not read this book, I think I know worked on it, but I'm saying I could relate somehow because I've seen a few
Other ones.
of some of the other materials. And these things, they propel one. In fact, when I'm reading your book, one thing I do is I make sure it's not the time I'm writing. I don't write because I want to make sure I have digested it and it has become a part
flesh.
of me. So when I'm saying it in my words and not just how you said it. And I don't know anyone who has watched your video on a series and is reading your book can hear your voice directly in those books. that's how it is. So it's, but anyway,
some people
thank you
even
for
say
writing
that. Some
DSA.
people even tell me that when they are reading the books, they are thinking that I'm there, right there, with that room with them, and they are hearing my voice telling them.
There are some exclamations you just hear it in DSA.
Yeah. They even say that the books to them makes me even closer. Than the videos. Than the videos, it's not like the same thing. That the books, they feel it in their body like this.
So when you said it's an instrument, I understand exactly what you're talking about. There will be some who, for them, it's just about books. There will also be some who, for them, it's all about video. And you got everyone covered. Some who are doing audio, you have them on SoundCloud. And you are just releasing yourself in the different materials and shades of.
By the way, this is on pre-order, so it will be about $3 something. So they can get it for cheap right now, at least for the next 1 week.
Yes. So please go ahead and get the book. Am I ready to become a husband? Am I ready to become a husband? So I think you were going to pull my leg by asking me, am I ready?
At least I want to know if you think it will benefit you.
Yes, it will benefit me. And I know for sure that I'm not ready to become a
Even
husband.
before reading the book?
No, yes, for sure.
We have a caller. I think they said we have a caller already.
So we'll start taking calls now. And hello.
Hello, DSA family.
Hello, good evening. Who are we speaking to?
This is Brother Alfred.
Hello, Brother Alfred, Oklahoma.
Yes, how are you guys doing?
Nice to hear from you today.
Yes, I'm home today, so my reception should be good.
Yes, it's better.
Yeah, when I'm at work, the connection is so bad, and I want to talk so bad.
It's so much good now, but so much better.
So much to talk about. First of all, congratulations and thank you for the HMT. Congratulations for the 25th anniversary. Oh, just so much good stuff.
We're hearing you, sir, and speak right into the device, please. Because it was good in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better now.
All right, I have it right in my mouth. Yes, Pastor Sunday, I really thank you. Wish to express my gratitude. I followed this HMT for this year. Actually, I started with the anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Going to school, I'm catching it, but I caught a good part of it. Just starting from the anniversary, your message about some of the lessons you learned in life, I really followed through those, and they have really challenged me again to, on some of the things that we went through when we were growing up, how we can take advantage of that in terms of working hard. See, one of the things, DSA, that really attracted me to you was when you started talking about that we Christians don't need to forget the aspect of hard work.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting and believing for a miracle to happen.
Yeah.
And so, and then going through your teaching on life is predictable. I mean, it's just so many things to talk about. So on that anniversary by itself, and then just some key things to highlight on. First of all, I'm in so much admiration by the way you pastor. This anniversary was also another window into your world of your present day, how pastoring is being done at your church, Jesus Embassy.
God Embassy.
God Embassy. Sorry, not Jesus Embassy. Excuse me. God Embassy. God Embassy in Ukraine. Um, because I so admire the way you pastor. One of the keynotes when they were praying for those new pastors, and then you gave them the opportunity to just, talk and make comments. And then after that, you open it up to the congregation. Those are things that are rarely done in many places. I was just in so much admiration. I just said, this is how pastoring is supposed to be done. And then on top of that, we have that missionary who came forward and just poured her heart that she did not expect that she would have the opportunity to share that testimony about somebody she led to Christ that was on her dying bed, and she gave a request, a wish. That was just so emotional, but again, it just talks about how pastoring, the way you do it, and then it's just, it was so good. The anniversary again highlight a lot of things that you've been teaching and emphasizing, about church shift, about church growth, and how to really make impact in your community. And then before I'm digesting all of that to get enough of that, then you go to the HMT, which the HMT this year, I haven't been following you for too long, but the HMT this year to me, I mean, the one that just passed, that was something else about system. I mean, it's mind-blowing. The things that you explain about system, how you said that is through system, that a lot of things are being done. But again, it's that system that you're using to do a lot of things at the church, God Embassy, and most of the things that the ministry is doing. Then Pastor Derek from Canada also came and talked about system, how, one of your disciples that have really used it and how it's working. It makes us to see that, okay, this thing is real. And this is something.
And it's not just working in Ukraine, it's working in
yes.
North America, it's working in Europe.
North America, yes, Pastor, because I live in this part of the world, and we can have all kinds of excuse. I remember one of the participants said, Pastor, you probably were called to do something like this. And you told them, no, this is a need that you saw, and then you were feeling it. I was just so challenged, and I was so blessed, because I said, we are not doing these things. That's the thing. The present day church, first of all, the present day church is doing what it can do, but it's not doing much to develop the people into their calling, into their sphere of influence. That's why I have an issue. I mean, if I look at most of the churches, yeah, they're preaching the gospel, but it's just like you hear the gospel, you go out there, go fend for yourself. And then they can even teach about potentials and things to do, on things that you're supposed to do, but how to do it, and then you told us how you people take people from off the street, and then those same people you take from off the street, in a couple of years, they become meaningful people in the society, not just meaningful, like important people that are causing changes, and you were just showing examples. Now it really made me understand some of the videos I've been watching in the past on some of those things they said is happening at God Embassy. Now I really saw it. Okay, like prime example, Pastor Sunday said, if you follow through that HMT on system, when he talked about that if you're doing a RC, a rehabilitation center, at the beginning, the bottom, you have a quarantine. In that quarantine department, this is where everybody is brought in, those who are addicts, depending on what situation, and they clean them up and then send them to the hospital, that the church takes over that bill. That was just mind-blowing to me, because I know that in most churches,
there are thousands of those people. We do every day. We do that.
Wow, and it is, Pastor, what you guys are doing. If this is not bringing the kingdom of God on earth, I don't know what else is.
Yeah, that's what Peter Wagner said. That he's been a professor of church growth and church history, missiology, right. And he knows everything about church worldwide. He's a professor. That's his area. And he said, I've been talking about apostolic church, kingdom church, but I've never seen it before until I came to Ukraine.
It's true. I remember some years back when I was a young believer, I read a book by Peter Wagner about church growth. So most of his samples were in Southern America, so I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
But what God Embassy, Pastor Sunday, what you're doing in Ukraine should be the sample size of what the church is supposed to be. I am determined.
Yeah, an American professor. Can you show that book, Missional Church?
Missionary church.
Reformation. Yeah. So that book is, an American professor came here and did a research. He was here for 6 months, and he documented all the methods and styles and what makes Embassy of God tick. So this book is the book that will really, it's not my book, it's his book, but it's all about the Embassy of God as a module for the 21st century.
Oh, thank you so much. And Pastor Sunday, since you're on that topic, there were a lot of books that members in your church have written about rehabilitation.
Yes, about different topics. Yeah.
Yeah, in English, but we can't have access to it. What can we do?
No, you can. If you want, you can. You can order for them from here.
Okay, all right. Just to let everyone know
Yeah.
that it can be ordered directly from
DSA's books at gmail.com.
Okay, yeah, because they have, a lot of people. Also, Pastor, another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I have been a witness that in some churches, they say you are not supposed to have your own vision or your own dream. You should have your vision aligned with what the pastor, the man of God. So that was some of the areas that discouraged a lot of us. You try to do some things, they said, no, you can't really do it. But see what you guys are doing in Ukraine.
Everybody in our church here is the opposite. Everybody must have their own vision. Everyone.
Right. This is one of the areas that made me understand that we've been living way below our potential. We haven't even tried to even realize our potential. And then for us, for our mindset, we thought that when you go to church and you render services, you are really doing the work of God. We never knew anything. I personally, I never knew anything like, okay, going out there to exercise yourself over yourself and being able to subdue the kingdom. If I didn't come to you and hear some of this stuff.
Yeah, that is what you are saying is housekeeping. That is the way I describe it in my book, Church Shift. Is housekeeping.
Right. Yeah. That I learned some of this stuff from you. Now I know everybody is wondering. I'm talking about something else. I want to come to the topic of discussion today.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to also let everyone know that the things that Pastor Sunday is doing is the things that they are doing. In fact, the amount of work that has been invested in the people in Ukraine. Just a member in Ukraine alone in that church, just an ordinary member, some of the exploit they have done, I haven't been able to even smell it, So, Pastor, and thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. But talking about the topic of today, Pastor, there are some areas that I wanted to comment on.
Okay.
In the African setting where I grew up on, it is not common for the man to do certain things. So your dad that you watch, I know my dad was an unbeliever, he wasn't saved then. But even looking around, even when I became saved, men are not supposed to do certain household chores, So the woman or the wife or your mom was the one that you saw swept the house, clean up the house, did the cooking, clean up the baby. The baby cries at night, she wakes up. You never saw your father does that. So now here's what I'm getting to, Pastor. The thing is, when we moved to this part of the world, and then specifically when we became believers, we came to understand that the role now for a man becomes different. And then we really want to believe that and do it. But because of the way we've been here, and I'm saying it personally from my own personal example, my own life, as an example, because of the way we've been engineered, sometimes it's like you're going against your mind some of the things that you want to do to help your spouse out. Like, okay, trying to take care of the baby, trying to change diaper, or trying to do some cooking, or trying to wake up at night and take care of the baby. For us, this is a Christian man talking now. I'm saying that because of the way we were brought up, not seeing your father doing stuff like that, and not seeing men around doing stuff like that, it kind of almost is counterintuitive when you want to do that. Even though even the Bible commands you that you should be, you and your wife should get along. So that's some of the area, Pastor, that we face a challenge, but we have to go by what the scripture says. So I personally, it was difficult for me, and it's still challenging, but I've grown to a certain point because of some of the teachings that, first of all, I learned in Bible school about submission and submission in authority. But then when I came in touch with your series on family and marriage, it taught me it's a whole brand new mindset that I now have in terms of my role. In terms of my role as a husband and what I'm supposed to do. And so it's some of these teachings that are kind of guiding me. If not, what I'm saying is sometimes because of the way you were brought up, you trying to do some of these things is like you're going against nature. So that's some of the problems that we, the African race men, we face sometimes. But if we follow what the scripture says, we notice that we are doing it wrong. So Pastor, what can you say about that?
They need to be taught. We need to teach ourselves differently. Even I too grew up in a place where men are not supposed to do some certain duties and chores.
Right.
But I was doing everything because I grew up with my grandmother. I was the only one. No child, no other person was there. So we were the only two. I needed to know how to do everything, both what the men and the women do. But even besides that, there are a lot of things I never saw. But for example, I never saw a complete family, but I had to learn because I was determined to change. We just need to learn, and now it's going to be very difficult for anybody to say they have an excuse because this book is out. Am I ready to become a husband? Then also my family series is there. So anybody that really wants to make himself better can do it now.
Yes, Pastor. That's true. Just my last comment is that I think for us Christian men, the challenge is for us to learn some of these things and try to implement it. For me, you will get a better relationship with your wife when you're starting to do some of these things, like helping out in the house, like doing stuff for the kid, just doing some of those things that you thought it was my wife's job. She's the one who's supposed to do all of that, not me. When you start doing some of that, because I personally in my own life, I've been seeing a lot of improvement. And then lastly, even though I said it before, lastly, the thing that kind of made me to opened my eyes was that I asked myself the question, when I was a single man, I lived alone, there were a lot of things that I was doing. I had to take care of my house where I was living in an apartment or whatever. I had to do all this little stuff. I had to run for errands and do chores. And then I asked myself, now that I'm married, who does those things? So then once I put it in that perspective, then I said, no, then there's no point for me trying not to do any of those things, thinking that my wife will not take over when she has a lot already going on. So that's my thoughts about that topic. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's just about desire. We have not even announced, you announced about calls.
Yeah, but I think the calls are already coming in, and I want to just remind everyone that you can call into the program. You can comment if you didn't have the opportunity to comment about the HMT. You can comment on the HMT, and you can comment on the topic of discussion today too. I'll be very happy to hear your views. And the book we've been talking about today is Am I Ready to Become a Husband? And DSA has written a book about Am I Ready to Become a Wife? Am I ready to become a wife? So this is Am I Ready to Become a Husband, talking more about the guys. And the beauty of this is that for
you didn't tell them how to call.
Okay, I didn't tell them how to call, that's true. So if you want to call, thank you for reminding me, I was not in the year now. So if you want to call, please write to us on Move Agent on Facebook Messenger, and then we will call you back. Move Agents on Facebook Messenger, and then we'll write you. We do that so that there will be no interference in calls. and so that will not disturb the current caller. So please just write, I would like to call, and then we are going to call you back. Move agent on Facebook Messenger.
I think that we already have somebody who listen to you. Hello.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Oh, that is Brother Israel.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
How are you, sir? Can you speak louder into your microphone, please?
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yeah, it's better.
And good evening to Mr. Victor.
Good evening, sir.
Dr. Victor, don't let me.
Mr. is okay.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the.
Is there any way you could make it louder?
Oh, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, it's better now.
Okay, I said I appreciate today's topic, and I believe all Africans need to listen to that topic. Because mainly, or really, that book supposed to be in the hand of every African man. Hello?
Am I ready to become a husband?
I'm married to become an husband, because the definition of becoming an husband in Nigeria is very simple. In as much as you are 25 years old,
25.
if you have a room,
A
pot, two plates and 2 spoons.
Wow. My
and
God.
And the cotton.
And a curtain, with one small mat on the ground. Even if you cannot afford to pay the house rent.
And the pastors will be justifying it by saying you have to struggle together.
And the pastor will say that a good woman will suffer
With the husband.
with a man that way, in that manner.
Crazy stuff.
As a matter of fact, one of the ways through which they define a godly woman in Nigeria is a woman who chose to say yes to a man in the state of nothing. So if the woman say, okay, I'm not despising you, but we don't need to get married now. Let us all do something with our life. They will say, she's not a godly woman, that she's not ready to suffer with the man, and then
It's materialistic.
and I think this book has to be in the hand of every, particularly young brothers who are, because our values, we have problem with value, we have problem with our definition of life is totally wrong.
Yeah.
I want to say also that I've read numbers of your books, and if anybody says that you are selling those books, you are advertising them, my advice to them is they should remain ignorant forever and know how much it costs to be ignorant.
Beautiful.
If knowledge is expensive, why not try ignorance? We have been under ignorance. Many of us who said we are once like this and we come out of it, we can testify on how much we have spent be in ignorance. Many people have sold their house just to pay for spiritual gift or to give prophetic offering. And eventually, the people who sold their land, who sold their houses, who sold their car to sow seed, just for them to be blessed, and the blessing is not coming, they are not complaining that. Now he's giving them information, he's giving them right, direct information that will help them to live right. They are saying, no, it should be free. It speaks about the stupidity that is going on in Nigeria. Look at this book. I've not read it, but I know that if I have my way, as Dr. Victor said, if I have my way, I will buy these books and share it to people so that you can become free if I really want to be free. And sharing it to brothers in higher institutions for them to read. Because here in Nigeria, when a brother, what make a brother to propose to a woman in Nigeria is this: God told me you are my wife. The moment we are in 400 level, I begin to receive.
God said, I saw in a vision.
When I receive you as my wife, I go towards the sister, and I told the guy, when I was praying last night, the Lord showed me, I saw you on a horse, and I was holding the horse, and we are going together. And God said, you are the woman. And then the question the woman is supposed to ask the man is, who are you? Why me? What is your purpose? All those things, they don't know. The next thing will be, okay, God has said you are my wife. Let's begin to plan for marriage.
Until the woman says, I have HIV.
Or the human now, maybe the human eventually now said, before I met you, I've contacted HIV. Now say, I don't believe I hear God
I
well.
didn't hear it well.
So this book, if anybody think this book should be shared for free, we should pay for, somebody should pay for 1,000 copy, take it, send it to Nigeria. If you cannot come, I will help you share it to people on the streets, in the corner, everywhere. I will even take picture of everybody that you see that they are giving them for free. Then you can make it free. If you have paid so much for ignorance for these years, and now come an information that can be better from religion, from blindness, and somebody is saying the book should be for free, individuals, social individuals also should contribute to this by buying those books and sharing them. If you cannot write, if you cannot research, you cannot suffer to pay the sacrifice to get information, you should pay the sacrifice by investing the money to get information across to everybody. So I thank you, sir, for doing this, and I thank those who are the lover of truth. May God continue to bless you, sir. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Well said. Well said. Great word.
Yeah, DSA, I have a question, probably before the next caller comes in. In the case where you think you are ready now to be a husband,
Yeah.
and I think one of the points you raised was to speak with the parents of the woman. But in any case, either your parent or the other parent do not approve of such relationship, what should be done?
You try your best to make sure that they agree and you get their blessings. Try your best, try to delay it. But if they will eventually refuse to do it, go to people who you regard as your spiritual parents and let them do it for you, or your mentors. Let them take that responsibility.
But
It's good to have a parental blessing.
what would be the criteria to say, okay, if my parents do not take, even though I have tried my best, like what reasons? Probably the parents who are saying no may have their own reasons.
They say we have a call already.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Who is calling, please?
Yeah, this is Kelvin calling from Austria.
Oh, Calvin from Austria. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm very fine, sir. And Vitor, my greetings also.
Greetings to you, sir.
Yeah, I've been following you for a while now, for some time, and your messages have really done a great work in my life in aspect of questioning everything, and the thing I see with people right now, when you question things, it's just like they see you as arrogant. They see that you're arrogant. But the culture I'm coming from Nigeria, you don't used to question anything. We don't question anything, so it's normal. So, but when you try questioning things, they see you now as an arrogant person, disrespectful. They stigmatize you with some names. But that is that, and also fear. It removes fear from me. I am a bit confidence in what I do. So many things that I do now because of your messages. Because I used to download your messages on my phone, and I have a earpiece. I make sure at least I listen one messages every day from DSA. And pertaining this topic that they are talking about in aspect of marriage. So many people, they, according to you, they are not really ready before they go into marriage. Because I have a friend, he gets a girl pregnant. Just for that reason, they give the girl to him for marriage, not understanding anything pertaining marriage. They just give the girl to him, and now they are living, complaining. They are calling me all the time that we have this problem, that we have that problem. I told him that you are not ready for this thing that you went into. You are not ready. You are not prepared. Your mind is not prepared. You just went into something that you are not ready. This is the result that you will get. This same result will continue because you have to be prepared mentally, physically, financially also. You have to be prepared, because if you are not prepared, you keep on having problem with your wife and even your kids. You have problem with them. And secondly, during the course of discussion, you make mention of something about flogging.
Yes.
When I was very small, about 9-10 years ago, my uncle flogged me, and I have the scar in my body. Up to this very moment, when I see the scar, I am not really happy. I'm very, very angry with that, and he really traumatized me all the time. Really, really. And
So it's true that what I said, that flogging traumatizes.
100% correct. Anybody can testify to this. 100% correct. Even those people that does not have a scar, it traumatized. Not to talk of people that have a scar, the thing leave a scar on their body. So when you see the scar, eventually you will be very, very angry. Even with that, the person that flogged you will be very angry. Even with your parents that allow the person to flog you, will be angry with them. Also, for them to give the person that opportunity to flog you like that and give you a scar in your body. So what you said is very, very correct. People can relate to that. People coming from Africa, from Nigeria, they can relate to the flogging aspect is even done to almost everybody. Done to almost everybody in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, DSA. This is my own contribution.
Calvin, thank you so very much.
Yeah, all right.
What you said is true. And of course you have said it. It's so traumatizing when people, because they never forget those times.
Well, do we still have any caller? Okay, no caller, so.
Yeah, so probably we'll just finalize on that question I was asking earlier about what would be, because the parents too could have reasons.
Yeah, that's why
to
I
them,
say,
and they are holding on to that.
And that's why I say we should listen, we should try as much as possible to get the approval of the parents and the blessings of the parents, because they know something you don't know.
And when I was younger, for instance, just because you are from Ijebu,
they will
people
not,
in Ekiti
will not
marry you, not for character flaw, but of course probably they've seen some things, but they will say, no. And the people from Ijebu say, no.
Yeah.
So, and people, just Yoruba people say, Igbo, no. Igbo will say, Hausa, no. Or probably even now, many African parents will not want you to marry someone who is not of your race, And at the end of the day, the question will be, of course, as you were saying now, the question will be, should we still go along or defer to them? But you are saying that even if you've tried your best to get the approval and try your best in the context of your best, then you could look at those who you consider to be parents to, in terms of people you defer to in decision making or mentors, and get them to do that. Because at the end of the day, one of the questions I ask is, it's good to defer to your parents and all of those, but what happens if tomorrow they are no more? Then you still have to live by the consequences of the decisions you have made. Yeah, so I think, yes, I agree with you on that part. So the book we have been talking about is, am I ready to become a husband? And that's a question many of us have not been asking ourselves before we jump into marriage. We like the euphoria of wedding, that we forget the substance of marriage. And we
illusion.
We like the title of I'm a husband without the responsibility that comes with it. And so, of course, like you have said, every one of us are people who are functioning by flawed mechanisms. And to now know that there are no models. Look at the African American society, for instance. Their own is even worse, DSA.
Yeah.
They don't have any model of fatherhood at all.
Slavery, yeah.
From slavery, that the fathers have been dehumanized, to the fact that a large proportion of the men are in prisons. And so they are not there to be examples to their children. And those ones to grow up without fathers. Then we start talking about divorce, where people are living separate from each other. We start talking about, oh God. So to get books
that's why
like
preparation is key.
Yeah. So to get books like this helps at least to bridge that gap. It gives you a picture of ideals, and then you can know what to change in your life, because none of us is beyond repair. None of us is beyond salvation. And so we can still save some things in our lives. Even for those of you who are married, you read
Oh,
this
yeah,
book,
it will be very
it will
helpful.
be very helpful to you, and you can correct many of the things, of the mistakes you are correctly making or that you've made. And it's just beautiful how knowledge can transform
It will change,
any situation.
yeah.
You know, people are on the verge of divorce. They just need just one little knowledge, and everything
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
sorted out. And that's the beauty of knowledge. And like the other brother was saying, if you think knowledge is expensive, then try ignorance. Ignorance has cost a lot of marriages, cost a lot of lives, but yes, knowledge. Let's try knowledge. Let's give knowledge a chance. I don't know if we have any more caller, or I just let DSA round up the show.
No caller.
All right, so you can come back for the next
In the next
series.
10-15 minutes, we'll be continuing the series on redemption. I discovered that not too many people know what redemption, salvation, and being born again is. So we've been dealing with that. It will take us about a month to finish.
On redemption. Something that they just preach
Salvation.
once and they finish. Once they say to become born again, and that's all. That's all. They've preached salvation. But of course, I'm sure that your preachings are very annotated. Your teachings are very clear. And of course, there will be some people still, but listen. Don't just listen to one. Try to listen from beginning, because DSA tries to build. And, you know, that's the beauty of listening to his teachings in this series. So it's a good time and a good day. It's been a good time with you guys today. And we want to say good night all the way from Kyiv. God bless you, and see you next time.
Peace.